Great success. Now cutscene.
So, what brings you down here anyway? Care for a drink? Cup of tea? No thanks, I'm fine. Alright. So, do you know me from the Millies thing or something? Oh, of course not. I've just been looking for another partner ever since my actual friend stepped out. Oh? Of what? My company, G&D Robotics as a whole, and I can't bring myself up to get control all by myself. Oh, you're the owner of G&D Robotics? Good, good. Well, I apologize to hear that, but I'm only good with experimenting, not with robotic technology. Oh, this isn't about robotics. Care to tell me more? It's a little idea I had while looking for a scientific fellow. Are you ready to work on Project Stargaze?
There you go. And now I'm allowed to think. This goes to a very low volume now because this game is loud. But that is 5 stars on the menu. And what I believe to be 100% completion. I think. Oh, there's this. There's this thing. I don't know what this says because it's far too zoomed in or too big. I don't really know. That's one thing that I hope can be fixed. And then there we go. Now it's a bit better. I win. This is my second time doing this now. Stuffed up on the recording of the first winning attempt. But we're here now. Second time's the charm. But, even if it thankfully wasn't an issue for the one attempt I spent on this doing it the second time, I will still mention this guy. Manny. He's really annoying, and it's not even because of the sound bug. Because it just makes you have to check the camera. The annoying thing is that if you happen to be at a really bad spot and have had any of these three sit at your door for a long period of time, while Manny is just about to attack, there is a very likely chance that you will die while shutting the door for these three. Or any of these three, if they happen to be there. This has a higher chance of occurring, obviously, with Steam and with them being quicker. That's exactly what happened to me, because I went to shut her out. And then I was thinking, as Manny was in his last camera before attack, I was thinking, I feel like I might be dead if he's going to attack while I'm shutting the door. And what do you know, miraculously, that exact thing happened. So, fun. very fun. And that happened to be like, what? Just under 30 seconds from winning. So that was unfortunate. I think that's really the only thing with balancing. That's like the one little thing. There might be a few more that I haven't experienced. In terms of balancing, it could be far worse. I've had way worse experiences. Thankfully, things that aren't so fast to the degree that it can just constantly happen over and over and over and over again. There is wiggle room for the game to not stuff you up whenever it feels like it. But there is a chance for it to occur, and it has occurred for me, I think twice actually, that Manny combo. I think it happened on a main night once. Yeah, it did. But that could be adjusted somehow, and maybe just push Manny back the camera, back into the other camera, and then force him to move again. I'm not sure. Just, it'll be a little predictable, but you know, if he happens to attack. But yeah, about the game in general. Found it on a whim, didn't know what to expect. It's rough around the edges, but I'm gonna cut it some slack just because this, from what I can tell, is this developer's second project within Click10 going from scratch. And for what it is, when you go from a very tiny test game, just for scale, the test game is like 150 megabytes somewhere. This is like 2.5 gigs. It's a lot bigger. Significantly bigger in terms of how much space it takes up, which that isn't always a good telling. But there is a lot with this game. There is quite a few things. When it ranges from cutscenes, the length of them as well, collectible tapes, which could be adjusted. Forcing us to the cutscene and then resetting the night is kind of But I think it's just better if it was just collectible when you could look at it in the extras later, because you're gonna beat the game and it's gonna have the selection and everything. So you can go back to what you miss and you can just, it won't matter at that point. But no, this is fairly impressive. We all start somewhere. I'm not gonna ponder on this game too much in terms of its quality, because sure, there's improvement, but this is also a second game we're looking at here, so we can't expect a lot. But I did enjoy my time with this game. Again, it has its moments. There's little things, but that's fine. It didn't sap my enjoyment of the experience, and I'm sure with time this developer will improve and it'll be great, because this is all great. This is a lot more than I would have expected from someone jumping from a really small game to a much larger game for scale. So I don't know, it's just surprising. But yeah, generally everything ticks the box well enough. I do like the little lines here that show up, except I can't read this one and I don't know how to. It's not because I'm in full screen, it's just like that. I've tried looking at it in window mode. And also magic, if you want to find something funny. This guy's weird. He doesn't have anything that disappears when you set him to 20. But I don't know why this happens. That's one other thing I've noticed. But yeah, this is just a generally good game. You can I definitely like it, despite the shortcomings, which that's fine. There obviously are some major issues that ideally should be fixed, but from what I know, the developer has trouble figuring out the engine, which, from what I know, from an outsider's point of view, this engine does lots of people's heads in, so it's kind of just, unless you know what you're doing, you're very skilled at working around the engine, it's going to be a tough time getting into the engine, which that's a lot of engines, game development engines, but anyway, this seems to have a bit of a reputation for being very annoying to get into and very annoying to work with when you actually want it to work. So, but yeah, honestly, another thing as well, I kind of wish it was more clear how to unlock these characters. I assumed how to unlock this one because when this character was not here, there was a shop in place of this text. There was something for a high amount of coins you could buy. And I was like, boy, I think that might be my ticket. But then these two I just didn't know, because the annoying thing was that these AIs would jump and change depending on the challenge you were on, which made it really, really confusing. I didn't quite catch that I was supposed to be able to unlock these characters from these challenges. And it's these two challenges. Ladies First unlocks Spearman, Rabbit Farm unlocks Bailey. I think that's their name. You can yell at me if I'm wrong, because I don't feel like going to the menu. Oh, and that shows another thing. Everything disappears if he's on 20 without setting this guy to 20. Or Sylvester. Yeah. But I think something should be made a little clearer here and there. Just maybe just have an indication that the challenge unlocks a character, doesn't have to be who. Or even then it'd be a lot more clearer if just the character that could unlock from said challenge will be active with the AI that they're set to. Because they're not active whether or not it shows the number going up or anything when they're not unlocked, they're just not there. And all these challenges I've done, with all these guys locked, basically this challenge goes from like a bit of a jump around with mechanics to just these three. Which, when it's just those three, you're not doing all that much. But and was there anything else? I don't really know. I don't really want to say, because I've mentioned in a comment on this game, on the game page for this game, a lot of the things I had, and I just generally a quite a lengthy sort of review on different parts of the game, which ultimately went nowhere, but that's just fair enough, because, you know, this engine is known to be very, very annoying. Oh, excuse me, I'm tired. Aren't we all? I don't think I have much else to say other than just neat little game. I like finding games like these, just the ones that most people wouldn't touch. But I'm curious about most of them. Especially something that's as big as this, with 2.5 gigabytes. And it was just like, whoa, that's a big game. What will this be? What could this possibly hold? And lots of content, that's what. But yeah, this was a little treat. I enjoyed it. Again, some things getting made a little clearer, like how the challenges actually unlock the characters, or you can indicate either the challenge will unlock a character, which sure is only indicated to 2 challenges, but there is enough room to just put unlockable character found in this challenge or whatever, I don't know. Something along those lines. But regardless, I haven't encountered these characters. 11. The 1120 mode, also known as the Remember the Incident preset. Fairly challenging, definitely. Obviously the most difficult part of the game, but that's in the sense of saying not that the game wasn't very difficult, it's just it's definitely quite the spike compared to any other night, I suppose, apart from Nightmare Night. But that's all red, so it's just kind of messes with your eyes a bit. I say that this is all red as well, but this is like the entire game is just red, just a bright filter red, and it's ugh. But yeah, cool game, fun. Could use some work, but again, we'll cut this game slack. A second game, quite ambitious, but we can't be mad at them. They wanted to jump in the deep end. That was their call. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's good to just chuck it out there. Especially given the fact that knowing this guy will improve, I am very curious to see how much they'll improve. Because if they can make this as their second game, then if they improve, I wouldn't want to know what any game after that point will be. I'd be very surprised to see what else comes up. And knowing there's most likely a sequel, I'm not quite sure. Sequel, prequel, whatever it's gonna be. I've not been introduced to this series yet, so I've yet to know much about it. But I'll shut up now. I've gone on far too long about a game some might not see, but that's okay. That's all I do, I just talk. I play and talk. Well, I don't play and talk, I play then talk. Because I can't play and talk. I only use half my brain. I'm using the other half of my brain right now. But I hope you enjoyed this neat little experience here. And I wish you all the best. Bid farewell.